Hey Tube, welcome back. Today we have continue our system design crash course. Today we will talk about the internet protocol, the IP address, internet protocol address, and yeah. So an IP address is a short for, as you can see, internet protocol address. Um, it's a unique numeral label assigned to each device connected to a computer network that uses the internet protocol for communication. So basically, let's say that we have two servers here. So each server will has its own IP address. Like for example, let me just take this one as an example, and we use the IP version 4 here because it's easier to write. And so this, for example, each server, each client have its own IP address. Let me copy this and put here also. And this one, it's quite unique. Let's just make this unique. So let's just add in 3 and let's just 1. Basically, the main thing, as you can see, that there are two purposes for IP address that needed for the servers. The one is the identification. So IP address is uniquely identified devices on network, similar to how a post address identifies a physical location. They allow data to be directed to the correct destination in the network environment. The second thing that we would love to use the IP address is the routing. Like IP address are used for routing data packet between devices on the internet or a local network routers. And switches use these addresses to determine where to forward data packets. Give me 1 minute. I'll just try to close the window. There's a lot of noise coming outside. Okay, I'm back. So let's continue what we were talking about. So we said that we need the IP address for two things: the identification and the routing. And there are two main versions of the IP address. There is let me grab a text here to talk about it. There is the the IP version 4, which is similar to this. This is IP version 4, and this is the older and more widely used version of the IP addresses. IP version 4 consists of 4 sets of numbers, each range from 0 to 255. However, the number of available IP addresses is limited, which led to development of the IP address 4. We use the IP address version 6. So let's just try. And let's see this one. So this is the IP version 6, and actually it's quite long. So let me copy this one for you to see how long it is. It is this long. So basically, the IP version 6 addresses are designed to replace the IP version 4 because they provide a vastly large address space. The IP version 6 addresses are written in hexadecimal format and are longer than the IP4 addresses. As you can see, they are way more longer. Also, its IP address can rather be categorized into types. So, for example, we have public IP address. Let's go down here and just. We have public IP address, and also we have a private IP address. And the public IP address, let me copy this one here. Why it's not working as I wanted it to work? It's just okay. Okay, and the public IP address, these are global unique addresses used to identify devices on the public internet. They are assigned by internet service provider, ISP, to homes, businesses, and data centers. Public IP addresses allow devices to communicate with each other across the internet. We have also the private IP address and the private IP addresses. These addresses are used within private networks, such as home or corporate networks. They are not routable on the public internet and are used for internet communication. Common private IP addresses ranges include, like for example, like this is, for example, this is a common IP address range, private IP address. So in conclusion, IP addresses are a crucial role in functioning of the Internet of Computer Networks. They enable devices to find and communicate with each other across vast distance, facilities, everything from web browsing to email communication and operating of cloud services. So basically, it's allowed to allow the communication and the routing between servers. So if the client wants to communicate with a server, it will use the IP address of the server to call the server, and the server will try to will get the IP address of the client to acknowledge that client. So this is why we try to use it, and of course the IP address work in much details in that, but in terms of the system design interviews and system design in general, you only need to know the IP address on high level. So that will be perfectly fine for you to know that. So that's it for today's video, and I hope you like my content. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, and see you guys in future problems.